What is up, guys? It's CodedRed here, and welcome back to another advanced Spigot coding series. In this series, we're talking about the brand new Spigot version of 1.17. To start off the series, I have a pretty awesome plugin for you guys today. It is very simple, but it is something that a lot of people don't know how to do, and there's not many resources on the web for you guys to find out how to do it. So today, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a corpse. To demonstrate a corpse, I coded this little system, I guess. It's like a little revive system for like a mini game. But like I said, the main point of this video is just to show you guys how to make a corpse like this, an NPC, show the same skin as you, and show them that they're dead. You see this a lot in like mini games like Murder Mystery, which I love. But like I said, there's not many tutorials out there that show you how to do this. So that's what this video is about. To show off this plugin, I am joined today by my wonderful alt account. So whenever this player dies, you'll see that they go into spectator mode, their corpse lays there, and their soul is locked away in a potion. The player that died is free to do whatever he wants. He's in spectator mode, so I guess he can just move around. But he is dead. He's not able to play whatever mini game we're playing, if this is like a revive system. But player one does have a chance to revive him. They can go ahead and carefully pick up their revive potion and then bring it to this revive station. Once at the revive station, when the player tries to revive his teammate, he will be frozen for a certain amount of time until the other player is revived. So when I right click on this, I'm gonna have to be pretty quick. You'll see that I got frozen, and then once that timer is up, the other player spawns in the air with their Elytra, and they're able to join their teammate back on the battlefield. Oh, or just die like that. Like I said, the main goal of the video is to show you guys how to make a corpse. So without further ado, let's get into the code. I went ahead and I already created the IntelliJ project. I went ahead and named it Revive System, and it is a Maven project. So to begin, we have to change a few of our Maven settings. The most important thing we have to do is make sure that we are using NMS, because this plugin does use NMS. If you don't know how to use NMS with Maven, I have a video on it. You can go ahead and check it out. There should be a little thing you can click above. But to be short and simple with you guys, all you have to do is run build tools in that version that you want to use NMS in, and then change from Spigot API, change this to have it say just Spigot. Once you have that done, you can reload the Maven, and all of your NMS should be working fine. Now, if you're looking at this ID and you're like, what the heck, and you missed the IntelliJ video, I recommend going and checking that out, because I'm no longer going to be using Eclipse. Further episodes will all be coded in IntelliJ. Another thing that I'm going to do is right in this plugin, the Maven compiler plugin, right in the middle under this, I'm going to type in output file and just make it output to my plugins folder. Grab that directory real quick. Then I'm going to name the jar file revive system.jar. I'll just make it so whenever I run the Maven, it will put that jar file right in my server for me. To make this episode really simple for you guys, I went ahead and put all the code in one class, so it's easier for you guys to follow, because you can get lost in all these NMS and packets that we're about to send. So go ahead and create a class. You can call it whatever you want. I went ahead and called it corpse entity. It's going to be like a util class where everything's just static. But to start off, I have all the steps ready written down here. So step one is we're to, first off, create that method execute right here, and make sure you are passing in a player. Once you have that craft player, that NMS player, we're able to go ahead and create our NPC. But before we create our NPC, we need to have the textures and the game profile already set up for us. If you don't know how textures work, it's very simple. Basically, when you have a skin, they have two different texture data. They have this right here, the texture code, and then they have a signature. All you need is these two different values right here to copy a skin. So that's what we're going to be doing in our code. We're just going to be copying the skin of the player that's dead. So we'll create a property called textures. We have a cast of property to a craft player dot get profile dot get properties dot get textures dot to Textures outside of that, dot to array of 0. Now this is going to get our craft player is our player who's dead. So to get their profile, get their properties, and let's get the textures. Let's get all the data. Let's get the signature and the texture data that we need to copy their skin for. Now we're going to say game profile equal to a new game profile. Ooh, already built right there. And then for the UUID, we have a UUID.randomID. Now this is a little different from past versions. In 1.17, to make this work, you need to have a random UUID. Now, when I coded this in 1.16, putting the person's ID that died worked very well, and it actually worked better. It has less steps. But in 1.17, we have to use a random UUID. The next variable is just going to be the name of the NPC, and this can be whatever you want, but I'm going to make it the same name as the player who died. You don't have to worry too much about the name because we are going to hide it with some scoreboards. But then once we have the game profile, all we need to do is say game profile get properties dot put, and we're going to put some new textures in there from our property that we have. So we're going to say new property textures. Oh, sorry. Textures dot get value. And then the third variable will be textures dot get signature. Just like that, we are done with our NPC textures. All we did was get a property from the player who died, and then we created a new game profile using his values. Now, with step 3, we're going to create that corpse. So this is basically just our NPC. It's going to be the same thing as our craft player. So it's going to be an entity player, and we can call this corpse, set equal to a new entity player. And when you're creating an entity player, you need to pass in 4 different things, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, right here. You need to pass in the Minecraft server, the world server, and the game profile. To start off, we need to have our Minecraft server. To do that, put in 2 parentheses, and we'll have a cast of a craft server. Cast it to our bucket.get server. And then we'll go outside of all that and do get server again. Comma, our next parameter will be craft world player.get world.get handle. And then our last one is just our game profile that we created earlier. And just like that, we have our corpse created. Next thing I want to do is make sure our corpse is spawning in the right location. So I want to set position to player.get location.get x, and I'm going to copy this, paste it 2 times. We're going to get the X, Y, and Z. Just like that, we're going to move on to step 4. So this one's spawning a fake bed. Now, you don't necessarily need to do this step. In 1.16 you do, and all the older versions you do, but in 1.17 we don't really need to do this step. But without this step, it doesn't really make the death look natural, I guess. It kind of just makes him look straight up in the sky and he's just laying there. But this way, he kind of turns his head and looks a little more natural. Also, this is how you need to do it in older versions. So location bed equals player dot get location. We're going to say add 1 0 0. Next, we're going to say corpse dot e new block position of the bed dot get x, bed dot get y, and bed dot get z. Go ahead and fix some of these parentheses real quick. I have 1 too many. All right, on to step 5 is probably the most annoying step. We're going to be using a scoreboard team to hide our player's name. Now, it is very weird of how this works, but without further ado, let's just go into it. Scoreboard team. I'm gonna call this team. I'm gonna set equal to a new scoreboard team And inside here, we're going to need to do a few things. We're gonna have a cast of a craft scoreboard, and we're casting bucket.get scoreboard manager, get main scoreboard, and then outside of this one, an extra one, get handle. Then we're also going to need to pass in player.get name. The next thing we need to do is hide that visibility of the scoreboard. So team.set a name visibility. And we're going to do scoreboard team base dot enum name tag visibility. The next one is .b. Now, if you're wondering how I know all these .b's and .e's, whatever, it was a lot of work, a lot of system outs and looking through mappings and stuff. That's really all I can really recommend for you guys is trying to figure this out. Is I just printed out all the different variations. I printed out .a, b, whatever, c, d, just to figure out what they meant. But .b just basically means so it doesn't show. Once we have that, we're going to need to send 3 different packets. The first packet is packet play out scoreboard team. Call this score 1, and we'll set equal to a packet play out scoreboard team. And we're doing .a, and inside parentheses, we're just passing in team. To make this work, we need to send 3 different packets. So we're going to send this one, and then we're going to send another packet. Copy this, and instead of team in here, we're gonna have some team and then true. And then we're gonna need another packet. Name this score 2. Another packet called score 3, and this one's gonna have team, our corpse, get name, and then it's gonna have a variable called packet. This one, packet playout scoreboard team .a. Like I said, it is very weird, and I don't really know why this works or how it works, but it works. I tested this out multiple times. I even tried to find out other ways of doing it, but really this is the best way, and it's not that bad of a way. Basically, just create that scoreboard team, set the visibility to none, and then we just gotta send those 3 different packets. Moving on. The next step. Now, this is one thing I said is a little easier in 1.17. Setting the pose actually works. This used to not work. It's corpse.set pose to entity pose.c. Now, in past versions, this method never worked, and I have the code for how to do it in old versions. I'll go ahead and put that in the description below. But for 1.17, we can just say corpse.set pose to pose C, which is just the sleeping pose. The next thing you want to do is overlays. And overlays are the thing on your skin, like my hair. If I look down, like my hair, my hoodie, the other layer of your skin. So if I don't set the overlays to this NPC, it'll kind of just look bare. It won't have like my sleeves and stuff and the hair. So we're going to set the other overlays. To do this is kind of annoying, but we have to use a data watcher. We'll create a new data watcher called watcher. Set it equal to corpse.get data watchers. Probably make sure you spell watcher right. And then we have to do some byte stuff. So byte b equals, I'm gonna copy and paste this just like I did earlier. Now I found this code on the wiki, the Minecraft wiki. So this is just all the overlay bytes right here. And we want to set those bytes to our watcher. So watcher dot set data watcher registry dot a 17 comma b. Now, if you're coding this in older versions, if in 1.16 it is 16, and 1.15 I think it's 14, and 1.13 I think it's 13. The way I know this is actually on a website. Let me go get the website real quick. All right, so on wiki.vg, if you go to here and you go to entity metadata, click on entity, and then let's see. So the byte data for pose is 6. Scroll down a little bit until we see overlay stuff. Oh, right here. So right here, player, we see that the byte data for their overlay, and this is what I mean, this the bit mask of the 1 through 80. So the byte data is 17. Like I said, in older versions, this number can change. So if you want to check out what that number could be, just go to wiki.vg, go to player, and you'll find it right here. But like I said, the number is 17, and then you pass in B. All right, on to step 7. This is going to change the fall position. Now, this is an optional thing for you guys to code in. It makes it so that the player is laying diagonal on the blocks and not just, straight on like with the X and Y axis. It'll lay diagonal, makes it look a little more natural. It'll also fall this way, this way, this way, and this way instead of just one way every single time he dies. The math here is kind of confusing. I'm just gonna paste the code in, have you guys look at it, and I'm gonna explain to you because it's a little easier that way. We're gonna create an entity move packet. This packet has a lot of things passed into it. It's gonna have the corpse ID, and it's gonna have a byte data of 0, and then a byte data of this right here. What this is basically saying is we're gonna move our player position down 1.7 blocks. So we're moving him down. When I was testing this out, 1.7 was actually like I think looks the best. We're moving him down 1.7. So usually he's like up here. We're moving him down right here. And then we're going to change his location. We're going to multiply that by 32. And that's going to put him diagonally. The packet is a little confusing, but I think it makes the death look more natural. But with that done, we are completely done with the entity. All we have to do is send the packets now. When sending the packets, let's make sure we're sending it to every single player on the server, or if you want to do the players nearby the corpse, you can do that. But I'm going to send it to every single player on the server. So for player on, which just stands for online, bucket.getOnline players, and I'm going to get that player connection. So player connection, we'll call it connection. Set equal to cast of a craft player. The player's name is called on. Get handle. Now player connection in 1.17 is .b. And then all we have to do is connection send packet. Now the first packet we want to send is the add player packet. This adds the player into our server. So we're going to do new packet play out player info, and then you're passing in the same word, packet play out player info dot enum player info action, and then dot a. Dot a will add the player into the server. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and print out all the different options for this, A, B, C, D, and E, so you know what they stand for. Most importantly, just the A adds the player and E will remove the player. We're going to use both packets. I'll show you guys. But .a will add the player into the server, but we didn't specify what to add in yet. So we need to do right next to A, comma, corpse. So that's going to add our corpse into the server. And then we're going to do connection.send packet, new packet play out named entity spawn, and we're spawning our corpse. Next up is going to be our scoreboard packets. So connection.send packet for 1, score 2, and score 3. That will hide our name tag for us. And then we say connection.send packet new packet layout entity metadata. Now this packet will let us send in that watcher that we changed, which will make him have that overlay for us. So we're going to say corpse.getID, pass in that watcher we created, and then we're going to say true. And then finally, our last one we're going to send is our move packet, just to make it look a little better. And just like that, we have all of the necessary packets that we created sent. But the last thing that I'm going to do, and if y'all can just do if you want, but you can see when I have this NPC created, he's not showing up in tab. Oh, let me zoom out. He's not showing up in tab, and to hide it, we need to send a remove packet. Now, when you send a remove packet, you have to send it on a different thread because you can't add a player and then remove them right away. It just doesn't work like that. So on the first thread, we're sending the add packet, and the second thread, we have to send the remove packet. But to do that, it is very simple. We're just going to create a new buckets runnable. Inside here, we're going to have our public void run, and we're going to have that connection .send packets, and we're sending this exact same packet. So I'm just going to copy it, save some time. And instead of .a, it's .e, like I said. I will remove the packet. And at this last curly brace right here, we need to say .run task. And then we need to pass in our plugin name of revive system .get plugin revive system. All right. And that's how you hide the corpse, the NPC's name tag from our tab list. Now for the actual death of the player, all I did was have a player damage event run off, and whenever the player takes damage, he dies and it spawns that corpse. This is an advanced series, so I'm not really going to go over how I did this, but I will show you guys the code. I went ahead and just threw it into the main class. I have a method that creates that potion for me, that special item stack. And then on the on damage method, like I said, it just kind of, whenever they take damage, it executes our corpse entity. So it'll execute this class we created, and it'll create that entity for us. It will then drop the item, that potion, and then set that player's game mode into spectator. Most importantly though, it will cancel the event of the player taking damage. So whenever that player does take damage, it'll spawn him right there. Now with the project all done, I'm gonna go over to the Maven section, this little arrow, go to life cycle and press install. This will go ahead and install it on my server. We can go ahead and test out the code. All right, now with my server reloaded, we can go ahead and take damage, and you'll see that the entity is now dead on the ground and my player is in spectator mode. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I wanted to go over how to create a corpse entity because I think it adds an awesome visual effect to y'all's plugins as well as minigames. If y'all want to see some more entity videos and more NPC videos, please let me know in the comment below. I will be going over a lot of things that I went over in the past advanced series because a lot has changed in the API. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.